Hey Internet, Caligula here, and welcome to another speed build. It's been such a long time, Internet, and I've missed you. It's been about a month, actually, since I last posted a video, and a lot has gone on in that month, both in my personal life and in the Sims world. I'll talk more about what's been going on with me personally throughout this video, but first things first, let's talk about the most important thing that has happened in the past month, and that has been the release of Seasons, which is what inspired this build today. As I'm recording, I'm still not sure what I'm going to title this video, but it's going to be something like a modern 4 seasons home or a modern all seasons home. I'm not sure, but it'll be something along the lines of that. And I'm really excited about this build. So even though I haven't posted a video in the last month, I have been working on building. It's just that I've had like 4 builds that I've just completely scrapped because they were just utter fails. I'm not sure exactly what was going on and why I was in such a building funk. I think it was mostly just that I was so overwhelmed with all of the great new seasons content that I didn't know what to do with it all, and I kept trying to incorporate too many ideas at once into single builds. And so finally, I just decided to look for inspiration and find a picture that I really liked of a home that I thought was really interesting. And I happened upon this ultra modern home that I'm building here today. So modern homes are not something that I usually do, but I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of them in the coming weeks because this was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun to step out of my wheelhouse, and I really love how this build turned out. So because I haven't been really recording for the past month, I am really out of practice with building, as you'll see in the video that you're watching today. You'll see that it's cut up and pretty heavily edited, and I do apologize for that. That is obviously not ideal, but I just ended up with so much footage because, since I was out of the habit of building, I just ended up just being so indecisive. And so I'm going to cut a lot of that out, but I'm still going to try to leave in the most important parts. Please know, however, that in the next build that I'll be posting, which I'm currently working on now, and it's super cool, by the way, I am going to try to edit it much less. And I do think that I started to get better at building once again as I was working on this build. You'll see that here, where I really struggle for a long time with the exterior, and then I take a long time furnishing the interior and then the first couple of rooms, but towards the end I kind of hit a stride. So yeah, this is a very modern home, and the reason why I wanted this to be my first seasons build was because for my first seasons build, I really wanted to build a house that was great for all 4 seasons. And so I wanted it to be a house that had a lot of windows where you could sit inside and enjoy the outside no matter what time of year it was. And so when I saw this house that had this huge living room with this big open concept plan and all of these windows, I knew I had to build it, and I knew that it would be the perfect home to watch the seasons change from. So I did struggle, especially with the roofing on this build for quite a while. You see me fiddling around with it, and that's because I experienced a particular problem that I wasn't quite sure how to solve. So in the beginning, I was really fiddling around with the roof because I was getting weird shadows on the inside. For some reason, I kept getting exterior lighting. I think because I was deleting the top floor and there just wasn't, I guess, technically a roof over that part in the Sims machine's mindset. I don't know. But after fiddling around with it some more and finally solving that problem, there was this other weird shadow that kept happening that was, I think, caused by the edge of the roof where there was this outline of little dots. So I was working really hard to just get the lighting on the inside of this giant open concept living space right, because that's the most important part of this build, so I really wanted to make it look nice. You can also see that I was fiddling around with the roof on the taller side of the house for a while because you could see this little strip of floor on top of the roof, if that makes any sense, and I couldn't figure out how to hide that, and it was really bothering me. But as you'll see in just a minute here, for some reason, I think this was a glitch because I don't think this has ever happened before, but for some reason, I was able to apply roof textures to that bit of floor that's on top of the roof and also to the flat roof on the other side of the house. I noticed that I wasn't able to apply every roof texture to it. I end up using the corrugated roof texture, and I noticed that I was also able to apply the gravelly kind of roof texture to the non-roofs, I guess I'll call them, the flat part as well. But it did not work for the shingled roof textures, which was really weird. So I don't know if that's a glitch. I hope it's not. I hope that's something that's here to stay because it did prove really useful. It always feels kind of weird to put like concrete on top of a roof or something like that. I'd rather have a roof-like texture instead, but for whatever reason, it worked out and I'm glad it did. So I really like the color scheme that I have going on with this house. I pretty much copied it exactly from the picture that I was going off of. You also see me fiddling a lot with the interior as I'm working on the exterior, and that's because I really wanted to get the proportions of this build right. So when I set out to complete this build, one thing that I knew I wanted this house to have was a nice outdoor living space, you know, to get that indoor-outdoor living going, and also a big greenhouse because we got so many great greenhouse objects along with seasons. So you can see me putting in the glass roof now and adjusting the size of the greenhouse because for a while it was almost as big as the living space inside, and that just seemed way too big. But I wasn't sure at first if I wanted this to be a house with a greenhouse and only one bedroom or a 2-bedroom home. I end up making it a 2-bedroom home, and I think that this house would be nice for a very artsy adult and a child of that artsy adult. I really like the color scheme that I have going on in the interior, which you'll see in a minute. I incorporate a lot of that blue or that teal color that's on the exterior. I try to incorporate that throughout the interior as well, but also to expand the color palette. So right now you can see me just pulling out every object from Seasons that I thought I might want to use in this build and just placing it in the rooms where I figured I'd probably use it. I approached this build in a kind of strange way. I realized as I was doing it, where I chose all of the objects first and the color swatches for the objects before I actually chose the color of the floors and the color of the walls, which it seems really weird because you'll see me arranging all of the objects and picking out the colors that I want the objects to be, but not doing anything with the floors or walls until I'm almost completely finished with the room. So here we are in the giant open concept living space. The color palette for this living space was inspired partly by the teal color on the outside and partly by this beautiful amoeba-shaped rug that we got with Seasons. So again, you'll see me cutting up this video a lot. I'm about to do it right here with the kitchen. The reason why was because I just spent so long trying to choose what I wanted the kitchen to look like, and it would have just been so boring for you to watch. So again, I'm sorry about this video being so cut up, but you know, I was trying to make it interesting for you to watch and not too long. But anyway, back to the color palette. So the color palette of this living room was largely inspired by this beautiful amoeba-shaped rug, like I said earlier. And the reason why I love this rug so much is because it's got a really interesting shape, which I think helped section out this open concept living space in a really nice way. And also because this particular color swatch just reminds me of a Monet painting, like Water Lilies or something. I think that's by Monet. But so I was trying to find things that would complement that rug nicely. And I also found this beautiful purple shade on this awesome coffee table that we got with Seasons. And I just thought that yellow was the perfect pop of color to complement these very muted, cool colors. It just brought in that burst of saturation and warmth that this living room slash dining room slash kitchen really needed. So let me talk to you a little bit now about what's been going on in my life, because that actually kind of inspired this build too. So I mentioned this before in the videos that I posted about a month ago, but I recently moved across the country. It just happened in this last month. And it's been great because I just moved in with my boyfriend, who I've been dating for many, many years now, and it's been mostly a long-distance relationship this whole time. So it's so nice to finally live with him. And also, we moved to an area where I have a lot of job opportunities. I actually have already gotten a job that requires me to do contract work. I'm a lighting designer, or a wannabe lighting designer. I guess it's it's better for me to say that I'm a lighting technician because that's truer. I implement other designers' works instead of designing them myself. But yeah, I got a contract job, and I also have another interview on Monday for a regularly scheduled part-time job at a theater where I'll also be doing lighting stuff. So it's super exciting. I'm so glad to have moved out here. It's so great. And I'm just super happy. I just kind of spent the last month getting myself together and just enjoying spending time with my boyfriend. He's in the military, so he was on leave during this past month, and his schedule was really going to pick up. So I just thought I'd enjoy that time with him and not worry so much about posting videos. So I apologize for that, but then again, I'm not too sorry. I hope you understand. Anyway, we are now moving on to the greenhouse. So I actually had a lot of trouble figuring out the color palette for this greenhouse because you could see that I am just overwhelmed by objects and decor items in this greenhouse. There were so many things that I wanted to use and that I thought would look great in the greenhouse, but it was just too many things at once. So I start to eliminate them little by little, and then things start to come together. But the color palette that I end up going with the greenhouse is that teal from the outside, some yellows, and then some dark greens, which is a slight variation off of the teal, purple, and yellow color palette that we've got going on in the living room. So I also wanted to have an accent wall in the greenhouse, and you could see me here trying to decide what sort of accent wall I wanted to use. I at first thought I would go for wood, but then it seemed so matchy-matchy with the wood floor, so in the end I decided to go with a dark concrete wall. And I thought that that looked really nice. I filled this greenhouse with a bunch of plants. I also, you could see, put in a little peephole window from the kitchen because I thought it would be nice as the Sims are washing their dishes for them to be able to look out at the greenhouse and also through the outside via those giant windows that we've got going on in the greenhouse too. But yeah, I filled the greenhouse with a lot of pot plants that your Sims won't have to water and a ton of gardening spaces, so there should be plenty of spaces for your Sims to actually plant plants as well. So it's a very functional gardening space, and I think it looks super cute. I included the bees in there. They're right by the door though, so your Sims should probably be aware of that. I did not mean to be so punny, but hey. But yeah, I did have a lot of trouble, especially with the shelving and what to put on the walls, because there was actually some weird lighting thing going on right above the florist table. And I couldn't figure out exactly what to do because at first I tried to put the wreath above there, but it seemed to go into shadow and I couldn't figure out why. So I thought, well, I don't want to put this really colorful wreath into shadow, so I'll try to put something else. For a long time, I just kept thinking it's too dark in here and too matchy-matchy at the same time. So then that's when I switched the color swatch of the florist table to this yellow. And I also changed the bee's home. Do you call it a beehive if it's man-made? You know what I mean. But I also switched that to yellow, and that's when things started to come together for me. So I think that the greenhouse turned out really cute in the end. But yeah, it was a struggle for a while because I was just trying to throw too much in it at once. The greenhouse was also surprisingly dark, despite the fact that it had a glass roof and an entire wall of windows. So you see me trying to put in a lot of lights, and I do end up sizing down a lot of those little saucer lights in order to try to brighten it up. But yeah, it was strangely dark. But I think that adding the yellow and sneaking in those little saucer lights really helped it out, and I think it looks great in the end. Moving on now to the master bedroom. I guess you call it a master bedroom. It's the biggest bedroom, but it doesn't have an ensuite. For the master bedroom, I decided to go with a purple and turquoise color scheme. And the reason why I decided to go with that color scheme was because I thought, well, the person who decorated this house incorporated a lot of purple in the living room, so they would probably have a lot of purple in their bedroom too. And also because the swatch on this bed that we got with Seasons was my favorite swatch. So you could see me now trying to find a rug that would really bring in a lot of color because a lot of the other tones in this room are very muted. We have got some gray side tables and a very light wood for both the dresser and the desk. And I really love those swatches, so I really wanted to use them, but I was struggling for a while to bring in some more saturation into this build because even though that purple is, it's a big pop of color. It's still muted in a way. And so I really needed something with a lot of saturation to bring it together. So I end up finding a turquoise pet bed that I just thought was the perfect thing to incorporate in this room, mostly because it helped bring in the kind of color I wanted. There's actually not a bowl for pet food in this build, so if you want to have a pet in this house, you're gonna have to put one of those in. But yeah, I thought that little pop of teal from the pet bed, as well as the pop of teal from this bookshelf, although I think I end up changing that bookshelf to white later on. I just thought that they really helped the room not feel quite so matchy-matchy. But yeah, here you can see me trying to find some sort of activity for The Sims that was teal colored, but I wasn't able to find one that I really liked. I was thinking about going with this easel for a while because that easel's cute and it does have, some teal color to it. But I just couldn't really imagine someone painting in their bedroom. I know it doesn't matter because it's The Sims and the paint's not gonna get everywhere anyway, but I don't know, I just got caught up in the realism and I couldn't put the easel in, so I decided to put a pet bed in instead. I do end up changing the wall colors to a bluish color as well. It's not quite so bright as the teal that we've got going on now, but for the back wall, I really wanted an accent wall and I really wanted it to have some texture. So I end up using the same wood paneling that is on the outside of the home. And I choose a color swatch that is gray, but it also has a hint of purple in it too. And I really like how that looks in the end. So yeah, you could see me now trying to figure out what kind of colors I want. I was thinking that the purple was too matchy-matchy and also that it wasn't saturated enough. So in the end, yeah, that's what I decided to do. I end up deciding to go with the muted accent color with the wood paneling and then a brighter blue for the other three walls in this room. And I really like how it turned out. It is a little matchy-matchy, but honestly, like matchy-matchy is kind of my thing. I don't know if it's a habit that I totally want to break free from because in real life, my decor style is very plain and very muted, so I like being more colorful in The Sims. I don't know why, I just do. Moving on now to the second bedroom. As I said earlier, I imagined this to be the room of a young child or maybe preteen. I was actually imagining a preteen girl living in this room, and originally I was going to go with another purple themed color palette, but I changed my mind in the end because when I put up those rainbow curtains on the window, they just look so happy and cheery that I couldn't take them down. And I thought that this other teal with pink flowers swatch on this cute canopy bed that we got with Seasons looks super cute. You see me trying to fiddle around with the color swatches of this awesome wall hanging that we got with Seasons, the one with the flowers there. It also has rainbow stripes and the leaves, I believe, a ton of different shapes and color swatches. I really wanted to incorporate that because it was so cute, but I ended up deleting it because I couldn't find quite the right place for it. So I'm not using it in this build, but I definitely am going to be using that cute little decor object in another build in the future. You can see me here trying to figure out, okay, if I'm not gonna go with purple, what am I gonna go with? Maybe I should try to incorporate more of the pink, of those pink flowers that come with the bed. So I end up going with this Parenthood dresser that has the pink drawers. I also use the same side table that matches it. And I incorporate a lot of other bright pink accents. The rug that you'll see me put in this room during the speed build portion of this video is not the rug that I end up going with in the end because it was just way too bright for me, I realized, and I end up changing it up with another pink rug, but one that is a little bit more muted, and I think it looks a lot better. It still looks bright and cheery, but not quite so in your face. Because honestly, like, I don't think that rug would pass, like, TV standards, because I don't know if you know, but certain colors aren't allowed on TV because they are too bright or too saturated. If you have Photoshop and you move on the color picker or the color ramp, the little circle up to the far right top corner of the color ramp, you'll see that this little like caution sign comes up, and I think that that's what that caution sign means. So fun fact. I don't know if you care to know, but there it is. So I also end up including this cute dollhouse. I decided to go with the modern dollhouse because honestly, that dollhouse is awesome. And it also goes with, you know, the fact that this is a modern build. I love those little butterfly lights that I put over the canopy bed. I don't know if I've ever actually used those before, but I thought that they were super cute. That is the extremely saturated bright pink, hot pink rug that I was talking about. And yeah, I do end up changing that later on. You'll see it in the machinima that I've got at the end of this video. But yeah, it was just a little too bright for me. A little too bright for me. I think it would be hard for me to sleep if that rug were in my room. I also included this cute little rainbow panda because I thought that that went nicely with the curtains. I know it's matchy-matchy, but it's so cute. How could I not? And I really love the rainbow shelves and this cute little bookshelf. I wanted to include a lot of crafty decor items in this room because I thought that, I don't know, maybe the girl who lives in here would be really into crafts, and that would be a fun activity she would probably do with her mom or dad. Moving on now to the bathroom. So the furnishing of this bathroom was pretty easy because I think every single item in this bathroom, except for the towels, I think, and the pot plants that I end up putting in the end, is from Seasons. So it was pretty easy to furnish this bathroom, although I did struggle with figuring out the tiling because you'll see that I really wanted to incorporate the teal color once again just for continuity and to make it look like this bathroom belonged to the rest of the house. But I also really wanted to have an accent wall of tiles, and I really wanted to use these subway tiles, but there was no subway tile floor tile, which drove me a little crazy. So I end up using, I guess it's like a gray slate tile. Do I end up going with gray? I know I don't choose the green. I think I end up going with gray. Yeah, there we go. And I was sort of satisfied with that, although the matchy-matchy tendencies in me really wanted some subway tiles instead. You could see me trying to figure it out, trying to figure out if I should incorporate the wood again and just have under the tub be tiled, but in the end, I just decided to go with those slate tiles instead. In the bathroom, I incorporate a lot of purple again with these cute little purple shelves that we got with Seasons. And what else? Yeah, a lot of pot plants. There are a lot of plants in this build because I figured that one of the owners of this house would probably be really into gardening because they have an entire greenhouse. So yeah, that would make sense. Also, the swirly purple rug from Seasons, love it, love it. That rug has so many awesome color swatches. One thing that kind of bothers me about that rug is that the edges of it are so hard and it looks super plush compared to a lot of other rugs that are available in The Sims, which I don't know if I hate it or I love it. It just didn't seem like a rug that I would want to use in a living room, maybe? I don't know why I think that, but that was what motivated me in this build. So we're moving on now to the exterior. I'm actually going to cut out a lot of the landscaping that I do, because like I said earlier, I just ended up having so much footage for this build and I had to cut out something, so I decided to cut out the landscaping because honestly, like, the landscaping in this build, it looks nice. There are a ton of flowers outside those big, beautiful windows, and it looks gorgeous both from the inside and the out, but honestly, I just placed a bunch of rocks and flowers everywhere and it's not really that interesting to watch. I love what I did with that chair from Spa Day and that ottoman. I did not invent that. I have seen Irrelevant Sims do that trick, and Devin Bumpkin do that trick, and I think Penapple do that trick, and a few other people as well. I'm not sure who invented it, but it wasn't me. It was just a great idea that I decided to steal. But anyway, we're now coming upon the landscaping of this build, which means that we are coming very near to the end of the video. I really hope that you enjoyed this speed build, and I'm so happy to be talking to you again. I have a couple more builds that I've been working on, and I hope to post those sometime in the next week, so be on the lookout for those soon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please know how much I appreciate it, and I will talk to you in another video very, very soon. Goodbye!